Cheers, listeners, and welcome back to another episode of Sipping With Sin. Happy to have you here. Welcome back. We have a fun-filled episode as a lot of content has been coming out recently, so we get to dive in and talk about it, and we're excited to do so. Hope you're all doing well, and welcome back to another episode. I am wearing a shirt. I want to address this right off. I'm jumping in both feet with this podcast. I'm wearing a shirt that I'm mad about. I'm angry at life because I have been deprived of this story for far too long. And I have a bone to pick with the creators. Bone to pick. I'm mad. I'm pissed off. My shirt, if you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, is Bright out. And it's a comic that I was promised would be out. And you know what? It's not out. And I'm mad. And with that being said, I would like to welcome one of the creators of it, and our esteemed co-host, the one and only Christian. Christian,
hello.
I'm mad at you. Tired of wearing this shirt and not having a damn comic. I need you to remedy the situation.
Man, that's awesome. So the update with that is, it is going to happen.
he's not defending himself very well, ladies and gentlemen. This is not starting off well. So you see what had happened was
you caught me off guard with that one, but yeah. So it's definitely coming out. We had to put that on the back burner for a little bit because we had to get some rights taken care of. There's rights issues that go with that, and it's definitely in development for sure. But we want to do more with it than just have it be. A media that you can read. So what I'm doing right now is kind of going over it with the other creator. Zach, if you're ever listening to this, then man, we got some work to finish, obviously. But anyway, with that said, we're going over the entire story right now, fine-tuning some things, adding a couple of things, taking some things out that we don't need, just trying to make it more contained of a story for the first run of it so that when we do more later, it makes more sense. But for those of you who don't know, Bright Out is a horror comic that I've been working on for a little while now. But comics take a long time to do, man. They're just kind of hard to get together. And we have other comics as well that we are working on.
Yeah, there's one that I've known about since I've known you that I'm even madder about that one. I don't have a shirt to wear to rub it into your face, which I wish you were on camera right now where you could see this shirt so I could make you feel extra bad. But I've been rocking it and wearing it around and complaining because I don't have this comic. But there's another comic, and the name escapes me. It has to do with a werewolf, and you have told it to me a bunch.
That's right. So the name of that comic that you're referring to currently is called Alter Ego.
Yes.
And that comic also was put on the back burner for a little while because I had to change some things around with the popularity of certain werewolf media. I had to make sure that the story was as original as I could make it. And also I wanted to take a couple of elements from some other things that I'd seen that would work well in that story. But that story, I am working on that. I have changed up the designs of a few of the characters that you know of.
Which one had the red scarf or something?
Red scarf. You're thinking of a whole nother comic. That was a red tie, sir. Red tie.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, that one I think is the one you told me about. Was that not werewolf related also?
No, that's different. There are several stories going on in my brain, and that's another one. And that one is even closer to being viewable for just general populace. But all the stories I believe are going to be really good. I think that everybody's going to enjoy aspects of each comic, and then each comic brings something different for different people. So I'm just really excited to share them with people, which I will be doing periodically on my social medias. If you guys follow me, shameless plug, Vin and Ink. On Instagram and TikTok. But anyway, man, it's gonna happen. It's just taking a little longer than I expected because I had to get some affairs in order. But
so I interrupted you. But what's Bright Out? Quick description of Bright Out so people know, since I'm wearing the shirt and plugging it and representing. Also, my promotion check or my ad check, hopefully, is in the mail for
Absolutely. So the quick short and curlies of the story is there's this kid named Aaron. His mother unfortunately passes unexpectedly. He moves to a new town, new small town, and people in that town start to go missing. So him and his new friends decide that they're going to look into it because they can do a better job than the cops, because kids always do a better job than the adults. And then they find out what exactly the reason is for the people of their town disappearing, and it's not what they thought it was going to be to begin with. So yeah, it's another little spooky story that I've been working on for some years now, and I can't wait to show it to other people.
Spooky. All right. So we totally got derailed right away, but I had to get off my chest. I mean, I'm tired of not having stuff to look at. But
No,
now
that's
that I
completely
have,
understandable.
do what?
So that's completely understandable.
Now that I've got this weight off my chest, we like to start every episode with knowing what everybody's been watching, reading, playing, or listening to. So I'll go ahead and I'll start. I have been continuing along the vrising Vampire Trail. Like I said, this game kind of come out of nowhere for me, and I have thoroughly enjoyed it. If you like games like Diablo and Ark and stuff like that, pretty much they have a baby. Even some Monster Hunter elements, and it's been a blast. We have a community server. We've been just going in on that. I've been playing that every day, pretty much, and I've really, really thoroughly enjoyed that. I also have begun reading a graphic novel to my son in pieces because he is 6 months old, and therefore he will stare at the pretty pictures for a moment and listen to the story, and then he will decide he wants to roll on or get in his little walker or whatever and do something else. So I've been reading X-Men Schism to him, and I'm very early in the story, but it is pretty cool. I do like the art. The story seems interesting, pretty much. Right now, all I've really seen is Wolverine and Cyclops, and I believe, Christian, they're going to end up going at each other on this. It already seems like kind of at odds early on in the story. But it seems pretty cool. But I'm liking it so far. You've read this, right? I believe you recommended this to us.
Yeah, that was some years ago. I read that story, but that definitely starts off the major conflict that a bunch of comic book fans will know as the X-Men versus the Avengers. That's kind of how that all starts.
Really? Wait, so are the Avengers going to be in this story somewhere?
So in your story, that's more contained to just the X-Men, and then it becomes a bigger problem later on.
That would be really cool if they ever somehow tied or brought X-Men back to maybe tie that in there, which I don't think they will because the Avengers have moved on. But that could have been really cool.
Yeah, I'm really excited for you to get more into the story because there's aspects of it that come up later that I'm really excited for you to see. Like there's some action scenes in there that I can't wait to hear your opinions on. So I'm super excited about that.
But yeah, me and him have designated reading time, so we've been reading a little bit as we can. But those that have kids out there know it is it's an adventure at times because he wants to rip the pages. So there's the constant like moving of the book trying to read to him. And yeah, it's
dude. I remember everything that you're saying so well about the little baby hands just grabbing stuff and
dude, they're
and
strong.
Not really meaning to destroy it, but that's kind of what kids do. They just destroy stuff, and because that's how they learn, you know.
God, those baby hands are strong. He'll grab my beard, and I'm just like, dude, what? And he'll just jerk, and I'm like, he's a grown ass man with these little powers.
Yeah, there's absolutely no filter for them, so they don't even know. They don't realize that they don't have to use all their strengths to manipulate the world around them, but they totally do it, and it's hilarious.
I gotta send you a picture. You should see his walker. You would love his walker. My mom and sister and them got it for him, and it's a Batmobile.
Oh, man, dude, that's sick.
I'm jealous. As a grown man, I'm actually jealous. I would love to have one. Like, I want a grown-up one. People on stream, those that from the stream that listen to this, you guys have seen it. He's come in here in it. The thing is awesome, and he scoots around the house in it. I'm just like, man, that's a badass walker. I love it.
That's super cool. Man.
I have to send you a picture, though. I have to show you. It's pretty freaking awesome. But enough of that. I'm getting derailed. What have you been into this past week?
So aside from some obvious things, this it's been a really busy week for me. So I haven't been able to, read and watch all the things that I want to read and watch. But I have been listening to things with the busyness of my week, and I've been listening to more of something that I mentioned in the last episode that we did. It's a podcast called Batman Unburied. It's an Elseworld story about Batman, and I really try to choose my words carefully so I don't ruin the plot for people. But if you listen to the last episode, that should have been more than enough for you guys to kind of go and check it out for yourself. So if you haven't checked it out already, spoilers incoming. But with the light spoilers anyway. But with the story, it's an Elseworld story, so like it's focuses on Bruce Wayne and not Batman. And Bruce Wayne, he's a doctor. He's working at a morgue, checking out bodies that have been victims of this killer called the Harvester, I believe. And anyway, what happens is with this going on, you find out more and more as you listen to the episodes that something is clearly wrong because Bruce isn't Batman. His parents are alive. Certain villains are in the story that have different MOs a little bit, and there's newer characters that we meet in this story that we don't really know from just general Batman populace. And something's going on with Bruce. Somebody's manipulating his mind, and this is kind of like a dream-esque mindscape that Bruce is trapped in. But he always catches glimpses of Batman and of fighting crime, but he doesn't know what it means. He doesn't know what it is, and he keeps seeing his parents die, and that freaks him out, and he doesn't know why that's happening. And then you meet this doctor that you may remember, Hugo Strange. And as soon as you hear the name Hugo Strange and realize that this is some kind of Elseworld story and Bruce Wayne isn't Batman, you know that Hugo Strange has something to do with it. With that said, this part that I'm going to tell you about is a major spoiler. So if you do not want to know about this, I recommend skipping ahead like a minute and a half. But in the story right now, that from where I'm caught up, there is a woman who Hugo Strange meets in order to get this plan together to take over Bruce Wayne's mind and do all this stuff before they find out who he really is. And this woman's voice is all you can hear because it's an audio podcast, but she talks about her powers and her childhood. And I'm like, oh my God, are they talking about Poison Ivy right now? And you find out that they're totally talking about Poison Ivy, but her character is so much more badass and brutal. Just listening to her, the way that she talks and talks about her childhood and how she grew up and how college years were, it's fantastic. So once again, I'm recommending to even the most casual of Batman fans, do yourself a favor, hop on Spotify and listen to the first few episodes of Batman Unburied. Each episode is roughly about 30 minutes long. They go really fast. They're fully audio. You get everything in them. If somebody's typing on a computer, you hear the clicks. If there's a dog barking, you hear it. If there's a cat purring, you hear it. If somebody's washing their hands, you hear the water. Like everything is there to fully immerse you in this world. So it's like listening to an audiobook. So everything is there that you need. The characters are voiced by amazing actors. You will recognize quite a few of them. I can't praise this enough. It's amazing. There's actually another episode for me to listen to, and I can't wait to be able to listen to it while I'm working because it's amazing. So that's what I've been listening to this week. And what about you, man? What you been up to? Anything else?
Well, probably like most of the world or America or anything, I have been into the two big shows that released this past week, Stranger Things Season 4 and Obi-Wan. I'm going to dive into our first topic, which is Stranger Things, and we're going to save Obi-Wan for its own episode. We're going to hold back on that one. We're going to pump the brakes, but we're going to go into Stranger Things. Before we start, I want to kind of give a preference where we're at. Me and the missus have a problem. We obviously watched Stranger Things before Obi-Wan. Well, not obviously, but that's just kind of how it went. Because I was watching, I guess I could have said this in what I watched last week. I watched all of the Stranger Things to be caught up because, to be honest, I had forgot a lot of little details. And so during the day while I was with little man, I watched Stranger Things and got completely caught up and timed it perfectly to go into the release of the new season. So I've watched the first 3 seasons and now watched season 4. So obviously it was fresh on our minds, and she was like, let's watch that first. So we went ahead and we have finished the entire season 4, which is 7 episodes. Christian, how far are you again? You haven't finished, correct?
So in the new season, I've only watched the first 3 episodes.
Okay.
And I'm getting ready to start episode 4.
Gotcha.
And there's a lot of information to digest just in those first few episodes.
Right. Well, each episode is what? They're all over an hour. I want to say like an hour and 10, hour and 15, maybe even a little more in each episode. And like I said, there's 7 in this part 1, 7 episodes. Part 2 comes out July 1st, so a little under a month away. And it has 2 episodes, but my understanding is those 2 episodes are going to be probably 2-hour-long episodes each, I would think, because it was rumored that some episodes were longer than the movie Free Guy, which is an hour and 55 minutes. So I would think they're going to be I would think both of them are 2-hour episodes, which I'm cool with, whatever. Take your time, make a long episode. Let's wrap it up, because as far as I understand, this is it for Stranger Things, correct? This is the last season. We're finishing this story. Is that right? Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct. I think this is going to be the end all be all of Stranger Things. We're done after this. There's no more. I'm sure that because of the popularity of this show, Netflix will probably do some kind of spinoff at some point.
You know, I've already been thinking about that. I don't really know what you could do. Honest.
I'm sure that they'll find a way to.
I know
milk
they will,
this, right?
but I just, off the top of my head, like, I don't, unless you can get one of the kids or something. But even then, I don't know, because I don't. Yeah, I'm sure they will too, because it's extremely popular. I mean, it's everywhere. If you go to any store, there's pretty much, like Walmart and stuff, there's Stranger Things stuff everywhere. It's extremely popular. I'm happy there. I think they do need to end it though. And I'm kind of happy this is it, and I feel like this is hopefully going out with a bang. But with that being said, should we dive into? So we're gonna keep the spoilers out the best we can. I'm gonna keep my mouth shut on a lot of things, but we're gonna talk about the first 3 episodes and where Christian is so far. Like I said, I've seen it all, and we'll kind of get into it. Christian, do you want to kind of lead so I know what? Like, I don't go in early and kind of mess up anything. Do you want to kind of start off and then I can fill in? Or how would you like to proceed with this?
I want you to start it off and ruin it for me, and then me to yell at you later. I'm just
so
kidding.
Ned Stark dies. Batman's Bruce Wayne.
Batman's, how dare you?
Okay, go ahead.
So it starts off, with the big recap for the last few seasons, if you need that, which I did watch the recap just because it had been a while. I remembered pretty much everything, but I did watch the recap just because I felt like, why not? And because I've only watched the first 3 episodes, there could be so many things that are going on in this show that I don't know about. But just from the recap alone, and I've had this thought before a few times, but they were kids, they were so young, I didn't think anything of it. But it seems like the showrunners are setting the character Will up to be gay, which makes sense because the show came out at the end of May, and now we're into June. We're in early June, but it's usually like LGBTQ month, essentially Pride Month. And it just makes sense for me. Like, his character just seems like that's kind of his natural end, essentially. But he's also the character in the show that has been through the most crap. Like, in each season, he's like right in the middle of like
the most
got
shit on the show, to be honest.
Yeah, like, it's essentially, that's what I was leading up to say. Like, Will has been shit on so much, and I have some hot takes about some of the characters that I'll get into in a minute, but
it's really funny. This is what you lead with, though, because when we were rewatching it, I guess it was around season 3, because obviously, like, the first 2 seasons are kind of a wash for him. Season 1, he's gone. Season 2, he's whatever. But the missus brought up that she feels like he was gonna be gay as well. And then I was like, I never really thought about it. The more I watched it, I was like, I kind of am getting that vibe, like that's where the direction they're sending him. And then definitely in the start, or definitely what I've seen, I feel like that's still the thing. I will say though, So we brought it up. We were talking to the Mrs. Mom about it, and she brought up kind of a counter argument because I feel like I feel like Will is potentially has a crush on Mike. That was the impression I was getting, and that was the vibe I felt like I was getting. And just kind of how he handled himself, the awkward, maybe the painting is of Mike. She had a counter argument saying, well, I kind of thought maybe he had a crush on Elle and he's jealous of Mike with Elle because he's so protective of Elle. Like everything she does, he's very protective. Maybe that painting is her, but I still think it's Mike. I still have the other feeling, but I was like, well, that's interesting. I didn't really think about that. I just think maybe he's jealous of Elle having Mike, like the other way. But we'll see what they do. I definitely got that vibe too, though.
I mean, that's a good counter argument for sure, but the holes in that theory come up when you start. If you really look at the character of Will, he's the only character who doesn't really seem to be interested in girls. And I mean, obviously there's nothing
one
wrong
time
with that.
he has an encounter with a girl, and it was the snowball or whatever that dance was they went to that time. I think that's season 2, right?
Mm-hmm.
And a girl asked him to dance, and like they're kind of smiling, dancing. That's the only encounter that I remember in the entire show where he kind of had an interest or like any kind of interaction like that with the opposite sex, other than Elle, obviously. So I mean,
Yeah,
I said, I think you're right on the nose with it. I think he is. I think that's where they're going with him.
that makes a lot of sense. I still, however, believe that it's the other way around. And also, when you look at the other seasons and stuff, and you see his interactions, like he was interested in dancing with someone at the dance because nobody wanted to be alone. And that part makes the most sense because then you get that moment with Dustin where he dances with Nancy, I believe, after he does his hair, the Farrah Fawcett hair or whatever. But
Hey, don't hate on his hair.
I'm not. I love the hair. I love Dustin's
I like
hair.
how you're
But with
arguing
that,
when I disagreed with you. This man's still arguing. Listeners, it's programmed in him to argue.
you can't cut it off, man. You gotta constantly be at the ready.
This guy wants to argue even when everybody agrees with him. He's like, but I'm still going to argue you. No,
Yeah, man. You don't let your guard down ever.
Oh my God, this guy. Well, you did this at the
Once they
start of the episode.
one time, that's it. They'll never respect you.
Okay,
I'm just kidding.
So moving on past Will. Will's getting shit on pretty much the entire
Still,
thing. Yeah.
yeah. So you got 11 or Jane, excuse me. She's Jane right now because that's like her birth name. So Jane is in school and she goes to school with Will because they've moved to California with Joyce. And I was actually confused that it had been so long that I remember their older siblings being even older. So I was thinking that like Steve and Nancy and Jonathan, in my brain, they were already seniors.
Same.
And I was assuming that they were going to be in college, but that's not the case. They are now seniors.
Me and Mrs. Sin actually argued about that because I was like, it was showing the scenes, I guess, them going to school. And she was like, they're just dropping them off. I was like, no, they're going to school. She's like, no, they graduated. And I was like, I thought they graduated, but they're clearly going to high school right now. Like, I don't think they've graduated. And they were alluding to, like, I think Jonathan waiting on a letter from a college, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, they're seniors. He's waiting on a college letter. And so I was under the same impression. So I was right there with you.
It felt so weird because I was like, what's the time here? Apparently it's only been like a year since the last season, but I expected it to be a lot longer than that. I thought it was going to be 2 to 3 years, the way that they were going to do that, because watching it and with time passing and real time and all that, and the actors getting so old, and all the kids on the show, they're not even kids anymore. Like they're full grown adults at this point. So just kind of watching that was really awkward. But anyway, you have Jane in school. Everybody's still in high school, which is weird. She's getting bullied and is learning English better, but is still, not quite there yet. And she's given her, projects in school. So it makes more sense now why she has a project where they have to build a thing and then show it to everybody because they're freshmen. So that does make way more sense. But watching it was very awkward. So I just wasn't prepared to see that. But, like I said, it's a lot better. I'm really glad though. I'm really glad though that we do get to see them in high school and see how that progresses. But yeah, you have like Dustin. He goes to school with Mike because they still live in the same town. And also you have Lucas who's there, but he's like a jock at this point now. He's like on the basketball team. He's trying not to be a loser anymore. He doesn't want to just continually play D&D and not meet new people. Max is still there going to school, but she's got like hella PTSD and
Max looks no different either to me.
yeah, the actress who plays her looks exactly the same. She hasn't aged a day. I think her name's Sadie in real life. But anyway, so yeah, Max is there and she's, has appointments that she's constantly missing with the guidance counselor because she can't get over Billy. She's having nightmares. She's not sleeping well. She's not eating well. Her and her mom have moved to a trailer park. She hates where they stay. They do have a really cute little dog though. So that's happening, and then you also have like Mike is the same, and this is where my hot takes are going to start. I'm just going to go directly into it.
Okay.
We can keep recapping the episodes, but I'm assuming anybody who's listening to this has watched it. But I can't hold this anymore.
Go for it.
So I hate Mike. I really don't like Mike. Like he's so annoying. He is so. Before I even talk about why I don't like Mike, let me explain something to you. Every single character in this show has changed or evolved in a way that makes sense for them because they are, in fact, getting older. For an example, Lucas, he's getting older. Max has broken up with him several times. He still likes her, but he also wants to make new friends. He wants to talk to different girls eventually. He wants to not be a loser anymore, like he always felt like he was. So he's trying to do new stuff. He's playing basketball. He's trying to, be a jock. He's trying to do these things. Dustin has a girlfriend. They're apparently doing really well. He's trying to, he's like cheating his way through grades at this point. I believe when we first meet him, his girlfriend's hacked into the school server somehow, and she's giving him an A instead of a D in Latin, which he says is Spanish later on in the episode. And you get to characters like Steve. He's working at the video store. He hasn't changed in the fact that like he's a different human being, but he's a lot nicer now. Obviously, he's evolved in that way. He's still trying to date girls and find the one because he can't. He's best friends now with Robin, who's also changed a little bit. She's obsessed with this one girl. So like everybody's in a new place right now. Everybody's in a different place. You have Will, who is in high school and is doing well in school, and his family's still kind of overprotective of him, but not nearly like they were since they've moved. But his character hasn't really evolved so much, and it makes sense for him because for 2 years now, he's been trapped in the upside down, back to back, kidnapped by these interdimensional alien monster creatures. Like all this crazy weird shit's been happening to this guy. So how could he grow and evolve as a person? He's got so much trauma that he's going to deal with for the rest of his life. So it makes sense. Then you cut to Mike. Mike is literally just a taller, skinnier version of the same kid we've been following for years now. He's still a dick to his parents for no reason. He's still doing the same stuff he was doing in school. He's still playing D&D. He's still obsessed with 11, but not really. Like he just hasn't grown at all. And his story so far, now I've only watched the first 3 episodes. His story so far is one of the least interesting stories that I've seen so far on the show. I care about the new guy that they added. What's his name? I can't even think of the new character. He's got the crazy hair, and
Eddie.
he's the Eddie, yeah, Eddie with the Hellfire Club. His character,
Sweet shirts, by
literally,
the way.
huh?
Sweet shirts, by the way. I actually want one of those shirts.
They sell those shirts right now. They're sick. I want one.
Yeah, I do too.
And I thought the Hellfire Club was a whole homage to the Hellfire Club that's in the X-Men comics, but apparently not. It's just the name of their D&D group, which is still pretty cool. But I love the combo of his, his baseball tee with the leather jacket and the ripped jeans and the tattoos. Like he's just a great character. But his character trumps every other character in the show, minus maybe Hopper, because Hopper is always going to be my favorite. But I just can't. explain to you how annoyed I am with Mike. And I'm going to skip ahead in the timeline of the
Well, hold on.
episodes
I
a
want
little
to stay
bit.
on Mike for a second. So
Okay, yeah, go ahead.
I think Mike is the weakest link.
For sure.
And the reason I say
For
that is because Mike really brings. Okay, first and foremost, I love Finn, the actor. Like, I think he's a great little actor. I like him. I enjoy seeing him and stuff. I'm rooting for him to continue to get cool roles. I feel like he could do vampire stuff possibly because he's kind of got that look. I like him.
Mhm.
Mike, the character, weak link. He has blinders on. He's in love. That's it. He brings nothing to the group. All he cares about is, I love Elle. I love Elle. I love Elle. I don't want Elle to get hurt. I love Elle. Like, nothing else matters. Everyone else could die. He doesn't care. He's in love. Which, as a kid, I understand. First love, whatever, all that. But yes, I agree. Weakest link, Mike, for sure. While you said Hopper, you love Hopper, I will tell you my top two characters. And I know you're going to hate one of them. Are you ready for this?
I hope so.
I think these two have the best chemistry. I absolutely love them. And one of them is by far, in my opinion, the MVP of Stranger Things. Like, give him the trophy. That's Dustin and Steve. Love Dustin.
Yeah, I mean, I can't argue with that at all. And the reasons why I can't argue with that at all is because I think that you're right. I think Dustin is one of the most endearing. He's one of the most heartfelt. He's one of the most just
He's also who figures out shit most of the time. Like, granted, Nancy is like the little detective. She's a little Nancy Drew, play on words, like in, I think, season 3. She is out there investigating. Dustin is who figures out a majority of the shit.
Dustin. So if you tie this to Scream logic, Dustin is the Randy, right? So
yes,
it makes perfect sense. Dustin is a very lovable character. Steve is also, if Steve isn't in your top 3 favorite characters on Stranger Things, then I don't think you're actually watching.
Steve was a dick in season 1, but that's good for his arc. He was a dick. He was that popular kid, and he's evolved greatly to where he hangs out with essentially. Well, he's graduated. I'm pretty sure Steve has graduated at this point. So he's what should have been a college freshman, I'm guessing, hanging out with a freshman in high school. Like, he hangs out with them as friends frequently. And I just love their banter back and forth and their relationship that's really developed since end of season 2. Season 3, they had a lot together.
Yeah.
But yeah, those two are my top 2. And then, of course, Hopper. I really do love Hopper. But yeah, I agree with you on Mike 100%.
Yeah, he hasn't grown at all as a character. It's really annoying. Finn Wolfhard, the person, like Finn Wolfhard's great. I'll watch him in whatever. But Mike, the character that he plays, like, he really sucks in this season, and I just don't like him at all. I'll tell you, a character that I used to really not like that I actually really, really care about in this season is Max. Like, in the other seasons, Max's character was just the bad girl. You know, she cussed like none of the other kids did. She's ditching school, playing games, riding a skateboard. You know, she's like Bart Simpson, essentially. And it just wasn't really intriguing to me, to quote Morbius, one of the worst movies of all time.
Oh my God.
It just wasn't really cool to me. Like, I mean, she served a purpose, right? Her purpose was to be a sister to Billy, to humanize him as a character, to also bring another element to the team, because their team is obviously lacking female representation aside from Eleven, who had all the powers. Which we'll talk about here in a minute, but like, Max was just kind of there. You know, she was just a fiery redhead, like, you know, every other fiery redhead in literally every other form of media since the dawn of time. You know, insert Beverly Marsh from It, insert Mary Jane from Spider-Man. Doesn't matter, whatever redhead you find, just, you know, Max, that's who she is. But in this season, I know a lot of her character arcs are, you know, center around her having a lot of problems with what happened to her. But man, I gotta say, I really enjoy what she's bringing to the table. I really enjoy what the actress is bringing to the table. Her character is just interesting, way more interesting than frickin' Mike, because Mike is just kind of there.
Do you like Will? Do you really care much about Will as a character?
So I'm actually going to get into that in a second,
Okay.
but I'm going to save that for just a moment. Actually, I'm getting into it right now. It
Go.
kind of involves Mike. So the last thing I'll say about Mike right now is the episode where they go to the skating ring, right? And Eleven's like lying and pretending that she has friends and that she's a cool person because she wants to impress Mike. I kind of understand that, but at the same time I really don't, because when you factor in where 11 came from and how her character has been in the last couple of seasons, she's been the one they go to. She's the one with the power. She's the one who can do all the stuff. She's the coolest one out of their entire group of loser club-esque losers, right? So now she's out of her element. She's going to high school. There's no Mike anymore, and the only person she really has, because Hopper is gone, is Will. So when Will was telling Mike at the skater ring, like, hey, she's lying to you, this and that's happening, Mike was just kind of like, what are you talking about? Whatever, dude. Like that kind of thing, like the attitude that he had. I was thinking to myself, are you serious, Mike? This is your friend. This is one of your best friends who you've chosen not to talk to for almost the entirety of this year, who you've chosen not to include in anything that you guys have been doing, who you chose not to write, who you chose not to call, like all this stuff. Like it's crazy to me, because out of all the characters in the show, Will is the one that I would be catching up with the most, because he's the one who's been in the Upside Down, who's the one who got kidnapped, he's the one who got possessed, he's the one who's lost his family essentially, like it's crazy. He was by himself there. You know what I mean? Like it's insane to me. Will is the reason why Joyce is such a badass. She's the reason why. Or I'm sorry, he's the reason why Hopper has been through some of the stuff that he's been through in the past seasons. Like it all comes back to Will. But then you have Mike here just being a fucking cockwaffle to this kid, and I don't understand it. And to answer your question about Will, how to feel about Will, I think I kind of answered some of that. I love Will. Will is a sweet little baby angel who should be protected forever. And I think that Mike is not a good friend at all. And you even have Will calling out 11, like, friends don't lie, when he's trying to tell her in class, like, hey, it wasn't that bad. Your presentation wasn't that bad. This doesn't look that bad. Friends don't lie. Friends don't lie. But all Will can do really is lie. He can't tell everybody how he actually feels. He can't hang out with his buddies because his mom moved him away. His brother's always smoking and hanging out with his brand new friend who's like a parody of every other character that does the exact same things that this guy's doing. He's pulled clean out of a late 80s, early 90s movie where they have like California, smoking boys, which is hilarious to me. But I just think that Will is a great character. He doesn't get time to shine a lot because he's always the damsel in distress kind of
Yeah.
character as well.
I
But
feel like he hadn't really
that's not
developed because of that. Like, I don't feel
yeah,
as connected to Will because he's been, like I said, like you said, the damsel in distress. He's been the one in peril for half of
exactly.
the show.
And the way that Mike fought to save Will in the past few seasons, and then you get to him now when he's just completely unfiltered, uncaring about how Will is, how he feels. This kid's wearing the same clothes that he was wearing when he was in the Upside Down, essentially. Like his style, all of that hasn't really changed. And when I first saw him, I was like, oh, that's because Joyce is really, all over him all the time, and she's probably buying all his clothes and making him seem like he's a little kid. But then when you see Joyce, that's not the case. She's kind of backed off from Will. She's kind of let him become his own little person. And that's why I think he's going to end up being a queer character, which I honestly believe is awesome. I hope that that's the case. I hope they don't I hope that I'm right. I hope they don't backtrack on that, and have it to where he's just obsessed with Jane or 11. Like I really hope that's not the case
Do
because
you
it
think
just
Mike's
makes.
gay?
No, I don't. I think Mike legitimately is a straight character. I think he's not a queer character in the least. I think he's just a bad friend and a really annoying person
Well,
as a
he's got those
character. That's
love
what I.
blinders. He's obsessed with a girl, and that's all he cares about. Like everything she says is the gospel, essentially.
Yeah, but
Like
that's his
that's about
entire.
the extent of his character. That's where you get.
Yeah, yeah, and if you think about it, they kind of treat Mike like he were the female character, because in a lot of older shows like that, the female characters in these shows were, boy crazy to say least, and they only thought about the one thing, and then they liked the guy, and that was it, and that was the gospel, like you were just saying, and then that's kind of their entire arc, but it's completely different for this, which is kind of an interesting turn of events. But Mike, Mike was the leader of the group, right? Like if they were all Ninja Turtles, he was the Leonardo, but now look at him. Now he's not even a turtle. He's like Bebop or Rocksteady.
This man just called him Bebop.
But he's so annoying, dude. Like I hate him so much.
Hear it first. Christian calls Mike Bebop.
He's Bebop, dude. He's freaking Bebop. But with that said, like I really enjoy Lucas's story arc and how he's trying. That's the other thing, dude. That's the other thing. Let me hop around a little bit in the episode. This made me so mad, dude. You have and I want to preface this by saying I love Eddie, the new character. I love that character. I'll stand by that down that hill. I think he's awesome. But I don't know Eddie. I know Lucas. I've been around Lucas. I've seen what he's done. I've seen what he's been through. I know his family, all that stuff. So if my friend that I've gone to the upside down, I've gone to war with this friend. He tells me, hey guys, I want to start playing basketball because I want all of us to be cool now. If I get in with the cool crowd, we all get in with the cool crowd. Like I want to be something more than just playing D&D and getting broken up with constantly by the same chick all the time. Like that's what I want to do. I'm like, all right, man, what do you want from me then? He's like, all I want you to do is come to my game. They even call him out and say, you're always on the bench. You're never going to be in the game. And he says to your face, like, hey, this is the biggest game of my career. This is going to be the biggest game of the season. Come to the game, support me in this. And they say, hey, we can't really do that because we're going to play D&D that can't get moved. It's a game. And I know how important games are because I play games. You play games for a living. So we get it. But your homie just told you, bro, I need you to come to this basketball game. I need you there. I need you to come here. And what do? Not only do you not go to the game, but you go and play D&D and you sub in his sister, bro. I completely understood why Lucas was hurt by that. I understood why he made the terrible decisions that he made after that. I don't know where that's going to end up because I've only seen the first few episodes. So I don't know if they're not going to be friends anymore. I don't know if Lucas is going to, it seems like he's already getting into the basketball scene. They're doing the whole satanic panic thing. And they're like, oh yeah, we got to go get this cult, man. The Hellfire Club is a cult. We got to take them out and blah, 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 blah.
Evil dies the night.
Dude, I swear that Joe and I, when we were watching that episode, we both looked at each other at the same time. We're just like, evil dies tonight.
That's what it was. That is exactly what they were doing.
Yeah, man. And they're making fun of that. The directors and the showrunners are making fun of that for sure. But that, all of that stuff stems from the same thing. It's all the satanic panic, right? Of the late 80s, early 90s. Like, oh my God, they're devil worshippers. It's a cult. It's this, it's that. And it's usually never what they say it is. Like 9 times out of 10, it's just literally some people hanging out and being their own person, their own people. And then, you get this other group of people who see themselves as better than they ruin it. But anyway, that's the whole point of that portion of the season, which is cool to see. But with that said, man, I really hope that Lucas doesn't stay in that group too long, because now Dustin and Steve and Robin and who else was it in there? I can't even remember right now. Dang, I can't think of the other character that was there, but they're all trying, they found Eddie and they're trying to let him know what's going on. And then they talk to us about Vecna. And that leads me to the next portion. When we see Vecna essentially, clouding the mind of what's her name? Chrissy, the cheerleader.
Yep.
And then the other kid, I can't remember his name. I keep wanting to call him Craig, but I can't remember his name.
I don't remember his name. He's not in the show long enough to really. He's. Yeah.
Oh, hey, I got some super hot news that I just saw literally right now as we are recording this, and that is they are finally showing off the trailer for the Resident Evil 4 remake for
Christian,
PS5.
I was avoiding that until after this, and you just ruined it. This guy.
Dude, I'm literally like, I just saw it and I'm
Okay,
like, oh my
stay on
God.
topic. This man over
Okay.
here. For those that don't
Dude,
know, the time of recording this State of Play, PlayStation State of Play is going on. I'm avoiding it like the plague currently because I wanted to watch it after the podcast so then I could have stuff to discuss on the podcast later, but little spoiler McSpoiler tits over there.
I can't wait. I can't wait to
Get back on subject. You've been caught up on Mike for far too long.
I have. So not Resident Evil 4, but Stranger Things 4. Let's talk about Vecna, dude. Like, Vecna is absolutely the coolest villain that's ever been in Stranger Things.
Yes.
Fight me. He's dope. He's dope. He looks amazing. I love that he's humanoid. I love that he's mostly practical effects. I love that he's essentially an amalgamation of every 80s slasher out there, heavily influenced by Freddy Krueger. And speaking of Resident Evil, it comes out March 24th next year. But with that said...
Wait, what comes out March 24th next year?
RE4 remake.
Are you really still on that? This guy.
I'm actually done now. I'm done for sure this time. But with that said, dude, Vecna is... I can't praise Vecna enough, dude. He is the sickest villain that I've seen on TV in a long time. And I want to draw him, but I'm afraid that I'm gonna mess him up. That's how cool he looks, man. He's awesome, and like he's got like his pointer finger kind of turns into this long, talon looking thing, like, and he kind of probes your mind and he picks you up, and it's like all very inspired by Nightmare on Elm Street, right? Like,
yes.
you even get hints of Nightmare on Elm Street in the music in the score for this season. Like, everything is kicked up to 11 when it comes to horror. Like, this is the scariest that Stranger Things has been since.
This is the most horror Stranger Things has ever been to me. This is actually like, and everyone that's watched it that I've talked to said this season is like straight up horror, and I was like, yes, and it's badass. Like, I love it. I love that aspect.
Oh, cool.
So I want to chime in just a little on Vecna. So for me, especially, like, not going into detail anything else, but the vibe I got, especially very early in the season, was very Nightmare on Elm Street inspired, with like Vecna and how he does, and like the talking to him and all that stuff. And then Carrie, with Elle being kind of bullied. She has powers, and I'm waiting on that like Carrie moment. So that's kind of the vibes I got early in this show.
With Eleven's character?
Yeah, with her being bullied, I was just, because she's being bullied over and over again, and she's like just taking it, and you're waiting on her to hit that boiling point. Kind of like in Carrie, and then when it just happens, like all hell's gonna break loose, you kind of think.
I mean, yeah, I am getting that vibe. I mean, I don't believe for a second that she's not gonna have her powers back. I think that like I said, I've only seen the first few episodes, and I'm probably super wrong, but I feel like she's gonna go back to her roots, and by that I mean back to Hawkins, or hopefully back to Hawkins. I think she's gonna cut her hair again. I think she's gonna just get back to being who she was, like being 11 and not Jane, and she'll get her powers back, and then go back to school and be all the things that we're expecting her to be. But
what's the last thing you've seen of Elle?
She almost killed that girl by doming her in the forehead with those roller skates.
That was pretty brutal. So that's the last thing. There's nothing else has happened?
For Elle, I don't think so, man, because the skating ring episode was, I want to say that was either the last episode that I saw or was the last like major thing that I saw, because Vecna just crumpled that nerdy kid with the glasses.
I also love how he kills him. I'm throwing that out
there. He folded him like paper, bro.
I know, and it's badass. They like their eyes pop or go in or pop out or something, and then they like just crumple everywhere, and it's so badass. And he's got this sweet web he kind of like attaches to.
Yes.
He does it. It's damn, he's a really good bad guy. I love Vecna. It sucks. I know you're only on episode 3. I really have something I want to say about episode 4, but I can't because you haven't watched it, so I'm having to bite my tongue really hard.
Is it a major spoiler?
I mean, not really. It was kind of in the trailer, but I don't think you watched the trailer.
For the season or for the episode?
Season.
I did, so you can talk about it. If it's in the trailer, it's game.
So, okay. One of the things that annoyed me with this season, and this is a small annoyance, it didn't ruin the show for me. The whole, obviously, damn, I don't know if I can say it. I feel like it's gonna. I mean, well, you know, okay, so you know, Owen hasn't found Elle yet, right?
Right.
Okay. Well, then maybe I should just be quiet until you watch it. I mean, well, then again, it's not really a spoiler. Pretty much, they're like, it's kind of like your typical superhero, we need you to save the world shit.
Oh, yeah. I did see that in the trailer, yeah.
And, I don't know, it was just kind of cheesy. It's like, we need you to save the world if you'll do it. And I was just like, really? Like, I don't know.
There's a lot of moments like that in this season for certain characters in their development. Because
it is 80s and I get the cheese, but I was just like, that part I was kind of like, meh, whatever. But also, I want to throw another thing that bothers me. All in all, I will say so far, granted, we still have more episodes to come, really like this season. I really, really like this season. And this season may be one of my favorites. Vecna may actually push it over to be, I don't know. It's going to be hard to beat season 1. Season 1 was great. But this season is up there. It's definitely right behind season 1 for me right now. One of my complaints is something that actually Elle's actress said, and I agree wholehearted with. Before this come out, she said they should have Game of Thrones Stranger Things. She said there's too many characters and too many stories going on. They should have already had some people killed off to eliminate some of the stories and bouncing around. I agree. I think there is a lot of shit going on. So where you're at right now, you have Elle and Will in California, and Jonathan, I think, and then the stoner guy, and Will now, or not Will, Mike, sorry. And then Joyce is going to Alaska, correct? With Murray.
Yes.
To try to get back Hopper, who's in Russia. And then you have the people in Hawkins. So you have people literally all over. So you have like all these different stories going on, plus Vecna. It's a lot. It's a lot, and I feel like it bounces around a lot. Granted, the episodes are longer, but I do feel like maybe we should have dwindled a few characters. Like, there's some that we probably could have not really missed. Possibly. But
I mean, I agree with you, but I also think that because we haven't gotten the last few episodes or couple episodes from the second part of this season, which obviously is marketing because you know that they've been done filming and editing all this shit for
it's over.
Months.
It's done.
But like, with that said, I think that they absolutely are going to wrap up pretty much everybody's storylines before the season's completely done and dusted. Whether that means characters are getting murked or they're just getting their stories completely wrapped up, I absolutely wholeheartedly believe that that we're going to be done with that before you know it. And I think that they're doing it on purpose. I think the Duffer Brothers and all the people involved with the creation of the show, I think they absolutely want to make sure that the characters' storylines are wrapped up so that they can't do anymore. I don't think that they want Netflix to be able to touch the characters that they did so much with once it's supposedly over with, unless they have something to do with it. So I'm fully expecting that to be the case. I'm fully expecting those characters to either get killed off or to get wrapped up when it comes to their stories before it's all said and done. Like,
yeah, there has to be deaths. There has to be.
Yeah. I mean,
I
always.
kind of agree with her though. Like, if you would have just maybe even like, I don't know, like I really like Hopper, but bringing him back added a whole nother story. We'll see where it plays out, and I'm not going into any detail. Obviously, you know Hopper's alive at this point. That's no spoiler. They showed it in the damn trailer. Everybody knew Hopper was alive after you thought he was dead. But I feel like if you had took maybe a couple of them out and focused more, but I mean, it's not it's not the worst, but I see her point on there's too much still going on. But there definitely be those final 2 episodes. I think it's going to be pretty heavy. At least I expect it to be pretty heavy. I want to see some. I think something's wrong with me. I want to see some casualties. Damn it.
I think we're definitely going to get there though, because they didn't show us Vecna crumpling people up like paper for no reason. And here's another thing that I wanted to bring up, because you've seen more of the season than I have. And if I am correct, then feel free to validate me. And if I'm wrong, then it's fine. But obvious to me, it's pretty obvious that, like Chrissy, for an example, I think that Chrissy was pregnant before. I think that she terminated that pregnancy. I think that she believes that she is a murderer for doing that. And that's how Vecna got in her head. That's how he got her initially, how he killed her. And the same kind of happens with the other character who I can't remember his name, so I'm just calling him Craig for right now. But the other nerd character that's hanging out with Nancy that works for the school paper or whatever, he got into a car accident. You find out his backstory, and some people, didn't make it because he decided to go home instead of calling the cops or whatever. So he thinks that he's a murderer as well. And that's how Vecna gets in his head. So it seems like the character of Vecna, like Freddy Krueger, kind of doing his whole dream thing. The way that Vecna gets to you is by he kind of gets in your head, and if you have done something in your past, especially that resulted in the death of another person, regardless if you're the main reason why it happened or passively the reason why it happened, I think that's how he's getting into people's heads. With that said, can you imagine? And this could already be a thing, by the way. Oh God. Ooh, hold on. I'm so sorry. I can see a trailer for a game that I want to play so bad.
Shut your dirty whore mouth.
I'm not going to tell you what it is.
So,
but it's
okay.
horror.
Chiming in on Vecna. Kind of. So, essentially, Vecna he targets people with trauma. So, that kind of yeah, what you're saying is essentially pretty much correct. So, if there's some kind of trauma, like a loss, like that kid, I guess, was in a car wreck or whatever, something like that kind of is in their past. Obviously, he plays onto that like a Freddy Krueger character and can get to him.
Okay, so oh my God, this looks so great. Anyway, back on topic. Oh my God, I'm trying to stay focused right now, but this looks
turn
amazing.
that off. Look, this man is not professional. Listeners, I'm sorry. I would like to apologize for our esteemed colleague. He is over here looking at booby nipples.
Oh my goodness. Cover your ears, son. But anyway, so
all right, we have gotten way off topic. All right, we need to wrap this up, Christian. You're way too distracted.
Let me say this last thing. I feel like they're totally gonna go after Max, because out of all the characters in the group, she clearly is the one that is currently dealing with trauma. So it makes sense for Vecna to target her at some point. But if you really think about it, pretty much every character that we've been following for the past few seasons has some kind of trauma that they've been dealing with or thought that they have dealt with. So like 11, for an example, there's trauma going on with her for sure. So she could be another victim essentially, right? If she doesn't get her powers back. And then you have Will. This guy has gone through so much trauma. We just talked about in tandem how much trauma he's still currently going through, why he hasn't really grown as a person because of his trauma, and that he may be, a queer character that feels super, super out of place because he hasn't grown thanks to his trauma, and because it's the 80s. But with that said, aside, I don't really care about Mike. He hasn't really dealt with any trauma. He's kind of the most privileged, other than Steve at this point, and Nancy even. But even Nancy has trauma. She's still dealing with Barb.
Yep.
That's not gone away. Dustin, not as much. I'm not gonna lie. So I think he might be safe from that.
Dustin's MVP.
Lucas
I love
is probably
Dustin.
safe. Dude, Dustin's dope. If you don't absolutely love Dustin, then you don't have a soul. You just don't have a soul.
Also, can we talk about his little tiger growl thing he does in one of the earlier seasons?
Oh,
yeah.
We totally.
Dude, every time that killed me, just how he would do it in that face. Oh, it was great.
It's fantastic. That actor, dude, he's awesome. I hope to
He
see
can
him in
also
other things.
sing. That dude has some pipes.
Oh yeah, he totally can. I forgot all
He
about that.
sung it, which he did like the Never Ending Story, obviously on the show. But I've seen like a bunch of videos of him at like doing like opening ceremonies stuff like that at ball games and singing. Dude can legit sing. Like, he's really good.
Which is awesome.
Can I give you a hot? Well, it's not a hot. A prediction, and this is no spoilers. Obviously, okay, Christian. If I was to say Elle's gonna survive until the second part, is that a spoiler?
No.
Okay, so here's my hot prediction. Right, I think Elle dies in Stranger Things. I think she goes. I think she will somehow. It'll sacrifice. Something will happen. Elle will be no more after the final episode of Stranger Things season 4. So I think.
You know what? I actually, I wouldn't be mad at that for a few reasons. One, because it would hurt Mike and he's annoying. I'm kidding.
I just think
rude.
she's not going to be happy because she's probably never going to fit in. She's going to be the odd kid no matter what. And I just feel like Vecna is by far the strongest that, well, Mind Flayer was pretty strong, but I don't know. Vecna, I feel like Vecna's going to be, it's going to be a pretty intense battle because you know they're going to face off at some point in time. They have to. Like,
But my thing is, if she had that much trouble fighting the Mind Flayer, how much trouble do you think she's going to have fighting Vecna? Because Vecna can affect you in different ways than the Mind Flayer could. And also with Vecna, like, Vecna doesn't even seem like he is the end all be all. He kind of seems like he's under another entity or whatever. And I could be completely wrong on that, but I wouldn't doubt it. You know what I'm saying?
I can't wait for you to watch more.
I can't
Just
wait
know
for me to watch.
Vecna gets cooler and cooler. Vecna's the shit. I actually really like Vecna as a villain.
I do know that apparently, and this isn't because of anything you said, it's just because I, unfortunately have to be on social media all the time. Like, I don't have to, but I choose to because, I'm an American, I guess. I don't know. But anyway, I've seen that Vecna has what I'm assuming to be a human form. I don't know anything more than that. That's me guessing, but I keep seeing an actor without the Vecna makeup on. And I know it's the actor that plays Vecna under the makeup, but I was looking and I was like, is this Vecna if he's like just posing as a person? I don't know anything more than that though. I kind of just let that go. So I could be completely wrong in that. But yeah, I've seen that, and then that's why I like when I'm online, I have to constantly filter out what I'm looking at and get off real quick so I don't get off the internet real quick so I don't, run across, major spoilage. So I've been doing that a lot.
So one thing, you haven't seen it yet. I believe it's coming up for you pretty soon. It's no secret. Robert Englund's in there. And God, man, I really, 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 really wanted Robert Englund to be Vecna. And from the early episodes, just the way Vecna sounds, I was like, damn, is this him? Like, I was like really analyzing the voice. Like, is that Robert Englund? Is he legit playing a Freddy Krueger type character? Which made me want Nightmare on Elm Street. Just one more with him. Just give me one more good Nightmare on Elm Street. I'm happy. One more Robert Englund. Not no damn recast garbage. Give me one more Robert Englund. Let me be happy. Give me it one more again. But I really wanted him to be there. I think you'll. I do like the Robert Englund cameo. I want to throw that in, but I love Robert Englund. So
let me comment on that real quick. What you just said about Robert Englund and Nightmare. I personally would give just about anything to have that happen, but I kind of don't want that to happen. And the reason for that is if they do anything else, Nightmare on Elm Street with Robert Englund, there is absolutely no chances for them successfully pulling off Nightmare stuff without Robert Englund. And that's just how it goes. Like, I know he's much, much, much older now.
74,
I know that
I think, when we looked up the other day on stream. 74 years old.
So you see what I'm getting at? Like, I mean, yeah, you got like
you can't do it without him. To me, and it's proven. I mean, no offense to the guy that played. It's dude from
Jackie Earl
Watchmen.
Harley,
What is his name?
Jackie L. Harley or Earl
Yeah,
Harley.
no offense to him, but that movie was boo boo shoes. I did not like it. It made me mad. It's different than you can put a different actor under Michael's mask. You can put a different actor under the Jason stuff. Robert Englund made Freddy Krueger with the slapstick and all the shit, the smart ass comments. And you need Robert Englund. You need that character, that style.
Think about what you just said. You think about what you just said. Michael and Jason, like they wear a mask. Anybody can be under those
Right.
masks, but Freddy, he
That's
doesn't
what-
have that.
If I want just one more, but I know that you can't. Hollywood's probably not going to look at one more, and he's too old to do. There's no way you could get a trilogy out of him. Not like he seems to be in good physical condition, but I don't know. I don't know how strenuous it would be on him.
There actually is a way. There is a way. They could totally have somebody else being the body of Freddy and then having Robert Englund do the voice of Freddy. They could totally do that, but
You'd have
I
to
don't
get
know
the makeup
legitimately-
right though, because dude, the last one, the remake looked awful. I did not like it. He looked weird.
Yeah, that's because they CGI'd that stuff, and it
Well, it was boo boo
it
shoes.
shows. It shows.
I did not like it.
Yeah, that movie was trash. I'm not going to pretend like, oh, it's not the guy, it's not the actor's fault, to be honest.
No,
But that movie was, like you said, indeed boo-boo shoes. It was trash. It should be lit on fire and never spoken of again. But unfortunately, the internet exists, so that's not going to happen. But yeah, man, I agree 100%. I agree 100%.
okay, so we're getting off topic. I want to get. I know. So I will definitely touch more on Stranger Things in future podcasts as you finish it, because I would love to get not having to censor my thoughts and really limit what I'm saying, because I don't want to ruin anything for you, because I want you to have that experience. But through 3 episodes, I know you were not reluctant, but you were not super stoked for Stranger Things 4 because you just were kind of done with it. How are you feeling through 3 episodes? Are you happy with it so far? Are you just kind of let me get this over with? Are you enjoying it?
I am reluctantly enjoying it, if that makes sense. I would never think that Stranger Things just going to come out and just be trash. But I'm so ready for it to be done, because the timing it takes for one to make the seasons happen, it just gets longer and longer and longer. And what they've given us, we have a solid story. But I mean, think about the quality drop between seasons 1 and 2, right? There was a whole ass episode in season 2 where Elle just learns the word bitchin', right? And it's just annoying. And she meets her sister, quote unquote, who, if she doesn't come back in this season, I'm going to be so pissed off, dude, because otherwise, why show us that character at all? I thought that the girl that she met, that's her sister apparently, was supposed to come back in this season and be the reason how she gets her powers back. It's not looking that way from the episodes that I've seen. Like I said, I would love to be wrong on that, but I think that they're just going to abandon that idea. But anyway, I like the show a lot. I do like the show, but I wouldn't like the show nearly as much if Vecna weren't in it and Eddie. Because
Vecna's a really
Eddie,
good end villain, I feel like.
Yeah, Vecna and the new character Eddie are making the season worth it, because Mike sucks. Lucas is trying to change so much so that it's really different for the show.
Can I say something that'll get you a little excited?
Yeah, please.
Okay, so Demogorgon was in season 1, right?
Yeah.
And he was really cool looking, super cool looking creature, but I never really got, I'm sure it was super badass, but you never really saw it be badass, right? You never saw brutality from it, or it just being the beast that it is. Fair?
Right.
It will redeem itself this season for you. You'll see a Demogorgon being pretty badass.
That is actually extremely exciting, and now I want to go watch.
Because if you think about it, Demogorgon was creepy, but it didn't really do anything to like be like, oh god, you know. I don't really think there was much combat with it, truthfully, in the first season. Like, it was more just escaping it. And then 2 wasn't the Mind Flayer, was it? That was 3. What was 2?
2 was what was 2? The Demidogs and stuff, and then you had dang it, I can't remember.
It was kind of just a continuation, but Vecna obviously, like, if you look at the enemies going up, Vecna is, oh god, dude, Vecna's only gonna get better for you.
Is Vecna like the Frieza for you? Like who would you compare him to?
Man, why you gotta throw Frieza out there?
I said it's Frieza, but I guess it should have been Cell.
Dude, I was about to say I like Cell more than Frieza. I think.
Yeah, Cell's my favorite.
Because Cell's really cool. I would think for this, yes. But you'll appreciate Demogorgon more in things to come. And I can't wait. Hopefully I get a text whenever you see it. Or even as stuff. Oh god, I wish you were done so we could talk about some of this stuff. Okay, we're moving on because this sucks. All right, so you're pretty happy, reluctantly enjoying it. We'll see. You still have 4 more episodes to go before you're done with it, though.
That's
with
right.
This part,
like I said, I'm excited to see those episodes.
I don't think anything's gonna really hurt that. And we'll definitely talk about it. There's some stuff in it, but I mean, when you watch it, we'll definitely discuss it. And like I said, next podcast episode, we're gonna touch on Obi-Wan, which time of recording this, there are 3 episodes. So
can't wait.
And we're already halfway through the damn series at the time of recording this, which is crazy.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I can't wait to talk about that. But I mean, so as far as Stranger Things goes, those are my thoughts so far. I would love to talk about it more once I actually finish it. But yeah, man, that's really all I got, man. Mike really gets on my nerves. I can't wait to see 11 do some more 11 stuff and not Jane stuff. So yeah, man, excited.
So you love Mike, got it? Okay. All right. So it's time that we
pass the whiskey
for the last call question.
Whiskey.
That's right. Okay, last call question for the week. We have a question that says, I need everyone on the show's hottest take. What is something the general population loves, but you seem to hate? Well, I'm definitely going to go against internet and the uproar, but I actually didn't mind the final season of Game of Thrones. I'm just going to say it. I liked it for the most part. Obviously, I was like a majority of people, and I would have loved to seen Jon Snow rule, but if you watched the damn show and you kind of knew what was coming, you kind of knew that the show never really wants to make you fully happy, and Jon Snow wasn't going to rule. They kind of kept enforcing that he didn't want it, he wasn't going to do it. I think it was kind of a best case scenario. Tyrion would have been my second choice to rule. I would have loved Tyrion, but after everything and him kind of helping Jon and stuff, he kind of, yeah. So I actually liked it. But again, I wasn't really a big Daenerys fan, so maybe that's part of the reason. But the missus also liked it too. We enjoyed it. It was not the best. I do think certain things are rushed, and there are certain things I wish were done a little different, and maybe a little more satisfying. But all in all, I enjoyed it, which definitely goes against the consensus. Christian, what about you? What's a hot take that you love, but everyone seems to hate?
That I love and everyone seems to hate, or that everyone else loves and I seem to hate?
That you love is what it says, but no, the population loves, but you seem to hate.
Okay, well, there's a few things.
Oh, I did that completely backwards.
You sure did.
Damn.
That's why I had to ask you.
Okay, well, you can just do it my way because I screwed that all up.
Well, because I already thought about the answers to the questions the way that I thought that it was asked, I have those answers.
So what would that be? Which way? My way or the other way? Because I screwed that all up.
The other way. So I was thinking about stuff that people genuinely seem to like that I don't care about or that I hate. And
Harry Potter.
I actually like Harry Potter. Harry Potter's cool. It's not my favorite thing in the world like it is for some people, but I really do like Harry Potter. Yeah. So a couple things that people tend to love that I don't. Really skinny women, not really my jam. I respect skinny people and bigger people, but I always feel like I would, hug a skinny girl or skinny guy and then literally break them in half because I'm a big dude and I don't want to break anyone. That's not really my goal in life. Uh, Another thing that
I want
people
to
seem to
break
like,
you.
if he dies, he dies. But but the other, like another thing, Superman. Like a lot of people love Superman because he has every power ever, but not me. Not really a giant fan of Superman. I don't hate Superman, but he's not going to be my first, second, or even third choice, if that
Hashtag
makes
Team
sense.
Batman.
Team Batman all the way over here, dog. All the way over here. Uh, I don't really like the winter time. I don't care for snow. I don't like the cold at all. People always like, oh my God, the fall is so amazing. Hallelujah. And I'm like, the only thing about the fall that I really fuck with is Halloween because that's the best holiday known to man. And if you disagree with me, we will fight. That's how I feel. I don't really like the comedy and Marvel movies. Like if you watch a Marvel movie, any Marvel movie since the year 2012. So since the Avengers, we'll say every single Marvel movie that's come out since the original Avengers film has the same quality of comedy. And if you watch them, the first time you watch the movie, it's like, haha, that was kind of funny. But then when you watch those movies again, it's really annoying. For an example, I love Spider-Man No Way Home. I love that movie. I'll never pretend like I don't love that movie. But if you go back and watch that movie, you will notice that there is a pause. There is a noticeable pause in what the characters say and how they react to each other. Once, spoiler alert for those of you who haven't seen that film, when you see the other Spider-Man show up, there's a pause in the entire movie to give the fans time to cheer about the things that they're seeing in the movie. So when you go back and watch, when Tobey Maguire shows up, when geez, I can't think of his name, or Andrew Garfield shows up, there's a pause. All the characters literally just stand there and don't say anything to give you time to clap and cheer. And in the same film, when Norman Osborn says the famous line, "I'm somewhat of a scientist myself," there is a pause in the movie. It's a hold up for like 3 seconds of just dead air, and then he continues his sentence and he says, "Osborn or Dr. Octavius, you know about me, blah 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 blah." And then they continue talking about how, he died and all this other shit. But that's what I'm talking about. That kind of shit happens in every single Marvel movie and show. It happened in Moon Knight, it happened in The Eternals, happens in all of those films, and it will continue to. So I don't really enjoy that.
Can I say something
And a
about
couple
Marvel
of
that I don't really care for that people seem to love?
please, please.
Marvel movies are very bright and colorful, correct?
They are most of the time, yeah.
I I mean it's okay, but it's not my favorite. I prefer the more darker movie. I like the Batman or something like that. Snyder cut. Like I like a more that kind, that direction. I just feel like
You look at
by the time
color
this, I don't
palette.
even know how many movies we are at this point in Marvel. They're just all so bright and vibrant, which granted, I guess they're geared more towards the younger audience, being superheroes and stuff. But for me, it's kind of getting old. And I know every Marvel movie gets praised, and yeah.
But yeah, man, it's the color palette. They're definitely brighter for that reason. They're supposed to be more hopeful. That's why if you go back and watch what is it? Not Endgame, but geez, Infinity War. If you go back and watch Infinity War, the first part of that movie is really dark and gritty because it's all about Thanos. And then when you go to Earth, it's a little brighter to give you hope. And then once you go to the Titan planet, once you go to wherever, I forget where the Collector is, but at all the other planets that aren't Earth, they're a lot darker. The color palette's a lot different. So the brightest part of the movie is when they're fighting in Wakanda, right? And that's because they're on Earth. It's really bright. It's really hopeful. Even though you have the death of like Vision and stuff like that, it's still brighter because that's how their movies work. So I get it. It is annoying after a while, especially when you catch on to it. But three other things that people tend to like that I don't.
Good God, you had a
One,
whole damn
iPhone.
book.
Yeah, I wrote a bunch of stuff down. iPhones. One other thing that people love that I'll never understand is hummus. It's not for me, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. And then there's this weird cheese. It starts with a P. What is it?
Did you say it starts with a D?
No. What is it called? People love it, man. It's like orange looking. What is that cheese called? Pimento cheese. Not for me, bro. I cannot stand pimento cheese. I don't understand why people like it so much. It doesn't make sense. And then the last thing that people tend to love that I don't get is quinoa. I don't understand. I don't get it. Quinoa doesn't taste like anything. Why do we love it so much? What's happening? Why is every healthy person in the world telling me to substitute every breakfast I have with quinoa? I'm not doing it. Shut up. Let me eat what I want to eat. I don't like it.
Okay. Now that you went on a thing, I'm totally putting pimento cheese on your burger next time you're here.
Dude, I swear to God, I'll probably still eat it because you made it for me, but I'll be mad about it.
Now you'll be like, damn, this is cheesy as hell. Then you'll be like, what's on here? But Chris, don't ask questions. Don't question.
I'm just gonna give it to Joe and be like, hey, can you finish this for me?
All right, boys and girls. Well, that's it. If you would like to have your last call question answered by us live on the podcast, be sure to submit it in Gilded at gilded.gg/Sinister Pack. If it asks for an application, just put them from the podcast. There's a whole damn section dedicated just to Sippin With Sin, so you can come check it out. You can see episode talk, topic suggestion, drinks, last call questions, even Sinister Tale stuff, so come check it out. There's even a Christian corner where you can come discuss things with him. But as always, be sure to check us out on social media, Sippin With Sin, at Sippin With Sin, on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Go show love. Comment. Talk to us. Let us know what you thought about the episodes. You can also watch the episode every Wednesday at 8 a.m. Central Time on my YouTube. This IamSinister, youtube.com. What is it? /C/IamSinister or whatever. Come check it out. We release it every Wednesday at 8 a.m. As well as the audio version comes out on Spotify, Google, Apple, Overcast, and many, many more. Anchor. Check it out. Listen to it. Why are you laughing?
I really thought you were going to say it's coming out on Apple, orange, banana. Like, I don't know why, but I thought that's what you were going to say.
This boy's hung up on some fruit right now. Something's wrong with Christian in this episode. I think Vecna's getting to him. But check us out. Show us love. Rate it 5 stars. Subscribe, follow, all that good stuff. Every Wednesday it comes out. You can find me on damn near everything. Twitter, Instagram, TikTok, and Facebook, all that stuff. IamSinister TV, Twitch, everything. Twitch.tv, IamSinister TV, fb.gg/IamSinister TV on Facebook, and then, of course, TikTok, IamSinister TV. Live streaming on those 3 all the time. And then, yeah, that's about it. Christian, where can the lovely folks find you?
You guys can find me on Instagram and TikTok at Venin Inc. That is VEN and Inc. And those are only 2 places you can find me currently because I don't like social media as much as other people think that I do.
You should post pictures of pimento cheese for him, too. Send him pimento cheese pictures.
I hate you.
On your iPhone. And post him a picture of Superman eating a pimento cheese from your iPhone while on his iPhone. How about that? There we go.
Oh, my God. That sounds like hell to me.
All right. Well, this has been another episode of Sippin With Sin. We thank you if you listened this far. Thanks for listening. We would love to hear your feedback on Stranger Things, and we'd love to hear feedback in general. What you would like to hear in the future. Like I said, we have next episode, we're talking about Obi-Wan. So be sure to come listen next episode. We'll be going in depth on the Obi-Wan series on Disney Plus. And yeah, Christian, you want to take us away?
Sure. Thank you guys for tuning in to yet another episode of Sipping with Sin. Be sure to leave a 5-star review, smash that like button, and leave your recommendations in the comments below. But most importantly, guys, don't forget, don't get gutted.
That's right. See you guys next time.